So I just saw Lord of the Rings War of the Rohirrim, and there is so much to talk about, so let's get right into it. The story is pretty simple. It is mostly about just the origins of Helm's Deep and some great battles that happened before the events of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. And that thus makes this a very interesting story, and I think it's really well told. The narrative is really interesting. It is a phenomenal story. It has some pacing issues, as the movie is at such a fast pace, keeping you engaged the whole time, and then it just slows down and not much happens for like a good 20 to 25 minutes, and you like lose the like sense of urgency that is happening, and it's at a weird point of the movie too, and so it causes this little disconnect that makes it a little less enjoyable. But then it picks right back up again at the end, and you're like, we could have maybe sped that middle, those like 20-25 minutes a little bit more, so we could have saved some runtime here. And it's just weird, but story is a solid hand grenade score. Now the cinematics, this is where it gets tricky. This movie's animation is an acquired taste, to say the least. It's a weird blend of its art style with the fact that it's actually 3D animated instead of 2D animated. The art style makes you really think it was 2D animated. At least that's what I thought seeing the trailers. So when I started watching the movie and I'm like, man, these shots are really 3D, I realized, wait, this is a 3D animated feature, but it looks artistically like 2D animation. So it was very weird to get a hold of that. And then there's just some like weird moments of clunky animation, and it's at like weird points too. Like I know I keep saying weird, but like it's one thing if it's like motion being clunky, but the movie decides to over emote, and it doesn't match the tone that the characters are speaking in or the facial expressions of the characters, and so they're just over emoting, and it looks super clunky and weird, and it creates a bit of a disconnect. But then you watch the action set pieces, which you would expect to be clunkier and weirder due to the fact that these characters are just over emoting at all times, and it's literally some of the cleanest, smoothest animation imaginable. So it really creates this disconnect because it's simultaneously super well animated when it comes to action, but then weirdly animated when it comes to just standing around and talking, because they tried to overemphasize bodily movements for no real reason. It does not fit under the voice actors' lines, and it does not fit with the characters' expressions. Like, the characters move their arms and shoulders all over the place sometimes in the beginning of the movie with some over exaggeration in their emotes, like in their emotion. It doesn't add up, and it causes a bit of a disconnect. It's a little weird to get used to, but once you do, you can forgive it because the actions sequences are amazingly done. So I'll give it a hand grenade score just because the action, there's more action than there are those moments of weird, clunky, over emoting scenes, like over emoting characters. And continuing on, the direction, as mentioned before, a bit of some pacing issues. I do think that this movie could have been a little bit shorter because there was that stretch of time where nothing really felt like it was happening. And that causes a bit of a disconnect, and you want to just keep moving forward with this story because it was going at such a breakneck pace at the beginning. And not to mention, the action set pieces were amazing. So I'll give the director a hand grenade score there as well. And now the voice cast is great. There are a few surprise voice, like, cameos, I guess, that you weren't expecting in the voice cast, and it really enhances the narrative, in my opinion. Like, I think that these voice actors, who I did not expect to see in the movie, appearing really enhanced it for you. And there's a really big one that I think most people will be like, whoa, when it happens in the film. And so I'll give a hand grenade score there. Very solid, great time. expectations and experience. This was a great watch with some friends. We were all excited. We all loved it. And it's just a great movie. So in conclusion, this is a certified hand grenade movie. I strongly suggest you go check it out. It's a great watch. It may be a little weird to get into at first, but you'll get used to it and you'll enjoy it nonetheless. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment down below your thoughts on this new Rings movie. Subscribe if you haven't already, and other than that, I'll leave you guys to it.